Something finally breaks in episode 5. Not an argument, not a deal, not even a gun being pulled. It's Tommy himself. You can see it in his eyes, in the way he speaks, in the way he stops caring about the consequences. Episode 5 isn't just another chapter of Landman Season 2. It's the moment Tommy realizes he's done playing by other people's rules, and that realization might destroy everything around him. Episode 5 opens with a heavy feeling that never really goes away. Tommy is still carrying the weight of his mother's funeral, and you can tell the grief hasn't settled into sadness yet. It's still anger, still sharp, still dangerous. He's walking through life like a man who hasn't slept, hasn't healed, and hasn't decided whether he wants to survive or burn everything down with him. This episode doesn't rush that feeling. It lets it sit there, uncomfortable and real. Cammy Miller is moving in the exact opposite direction. While Tommy is unraveling, she's speeding up. Every scene with her feels urgent, like time is running out and she knows it. She's not slowing down to mourn. She's not stopping to breathe. She's chasing one thing only: saving the company, the project, and the legacy her husband left behind. And the terrifying part is how calm she seems while doing it. Cammy isn't heartless. She's cornered. And people who are cornered make deals they never thought they would. That's where Galino comes back into the picture. And the moment his name is mentioned, the air changes. Everyone knows what he represents: power, money, control. The kind of man who smiles while tightening the rope. Cammy knows he's dangerous. Tommy knows he's dangerous. But danger doesn't matter when all other doors are closed. Galino offers exactly what Cammy needs, but at a price that isn't written on paper. He wants Tommy involved, not as a favor, as a leash. Tommy tries to stop it. You can hear the desperation in his voice when he warns Cammy. He doesn't argue like a businessman. He argues like someone who has already seen how this ends. He tells her Galino isn't just risky, he's poison. But Cammy doesn't have the luxury of fear anymore. She says something that cuts deep. She would rather hold onto the snake than drown. And in that moment, you understand her completely. She's not choosing Galino. She's choosing survival. When the meeting finally happens, the tension is unbearable. This isn't two sides negotiating. This is history walking back into the room. Old grudges, old violence, old power games. Galino doesn't threaten Tommy directly. He doesn't need to. He circles him, pokes at old wounds, and then brings up the one thing he knows will push Tommy too far: his son. The shift is instant. The room goes quiet. Tommy's hand moves before his mind catches up. For a split second, you truly believe someone might die. And that's when it becomes clear. Tommy isn't just angry. He's exhausted. He's grieving. He's carrying a lifetime of damage that keeps getting reopened. The man who once believed he could hold everything together is realizing that no matter how hard he tries, money always wins, power always cheats, and good intentions don't save you. Episode 5 doesn't ask if Tommy will snap. It shows us how close he already is. As episode 5 continues, the story pulls us deeper into Tommy's past, and this is where the episode truly hurts. The chaos around him doesn't slow down, but the show finally forces him to stop running from something he's avoided his entire life: his relationship with his mother. The funeral didn't just reopen wounds. It ripped them wide open. Being back in that house, surrounded by memories he never wanted to face, drags him into a version of himself he's spent decades trying to bury. What makes this part of the episode so powerful is how quiet it is. There are no big speeches at first. Just tension. Just silence. You can feel how uncomfortable Tommy is being back in that space, like every wall is watching him. This isn't nostalgia. This is trauma. The show has hinted before that his childhood was rough, but episode 5 finally lets us see why he is the man he is today. And the truth is worse than anyone expected. The breaking point comes from Ariana, of all people. She doesn't accuse. She doesn't push. She simply asks one honest question that no one else dared to ask. Why hasn't anyone shared a happy memory about Tommy's mom? That question lands like a punch to the chest. You can see Tommy freeze because for the first time, he realizes there might not be an answer. What follows is the most devastating moment of the season so far. Tommy tells the story of when he was a child and saved his mother from drowning in the bathtub. He thought he was being brave. He thought he was protecting her. Any child would expect love after that. Gratitude. Relief. Instead, he was met with rage. Cold, violent anger that no child should ever experience. That moment didn't just scare him. It ended his childhood. It taught him that doing the right thing doesn't always protect you, and love can turn cruel without warning. What makes this scene unforgettable is how it's delivered. There's no shouting, no dramatic music, just a tired man finally saying something he's carried his entire life. It feels less like storytelling and more like a confession. You're not watching a character explain his past. You're watching a human finally admit how broken he's been since he was a boy. Then comes the second truth, the one that explains everything. His baby sister died of SIDS, and that loss destroyed his mother in ways she never recovered from. Grief hollowed her out. She shut down emotionally, numbed herself, and left her family to fend for themselves. Tommy didn't lose his mother when she died. He lost her years earlier, piece by piece. And saying that out loud changes something in him. This revelation doesn't fix anything instantly. It actually makes things harder. His children start seeing him differently, not as an unbreakable force, but as someone deeply wounded. And for Tommy, that's terrifying. He's built his entire identity around being strong, being useful, being the man who holds everyone else together. Now that image is cracking. At the same time, Cooper's storyline is quietly heading toward trouble. Things with Ariana finally seem stable, maybe even hopeful, but Tommy isn't fooled. He lays everything out for Cooper in a way only a father can. He tells him he's reckless, that he's rushing to prove himself without understanding the cost. Cooper wants independence so badly that he's blind to the danger ahead. And just like Tommy once did, he's stepping forward without realizing how hard the fall might be. By the end of this section of the episode, one thing becomes painfully clear. Tommy isn't just fighting Galeno. He isn't just trying to save Cammie's deal. He's fighting generations of damage, grief, and silence. And for the first time, he's losing the strength to keep pretending he's fine. By the final stretch of episode 5, everything feels heavier, slower, and more fragile. The tension isn't loud anymore. It's quiet and unsettling, like the calm before something irreversible. Tommy has said the words he never thought he'd say out loud, and now he has to live with what they've changed. The family dynamic shifts almost immediately. His children don't look at him the same way, and for the first time, Tommy notices it. Strength used to be his shield. Now vulnerability has cracked it open. Instead of pulling away, Tommy does something unexpected. He brings his father, TL, home to live with him. On the surface, it feels like a simple decision, but emotionally, it's massive. This is Tommy choosing connection over control. For a man who's spent his entire life surviving by staying distant, this is a risk. It feels like the first real step toward healing something that's been broken in the Norris family for decades. There's no big celebration, no dramatic speech. Just a quiet acceptance that running from the past hasn't worked. But the show doesn't let that moment stay peaceful for long. The signs with TL are impossible to ignore. His eyesight is failing. His movements are slower. There are small moments of confusion that feel far more frightening than any argument or confrontation. These aren't random details. They're warnings. Episode 5 plants them carefully, almost gently, but the message is clear. Time is running out, and whatever is coming won't be kind. Meanwhile, the consequences of Tommy's confrontation with Galeno haven't disappeared. That meeting wasn't just tense, it was a declaration of war. Galeno doesn't forget. He doesn't forgive. And now Tommy is tied to him again through Cammie's deal, whether he likes it or not. The danger isn't immediate, which makes it worse. It's the kind of threat that waits, watches, and strikes when you least expect it. Tommy knows this. You can see it in how guarded he becomes, how every decision feels heavier than the last. Cammie, on the other hand, is holding herself together by sheer will. The deal is moving forward, but the cost is starting to show. She's not celebrating. She's bracing. She knows that survival sometimes means living with choices that will haunt you later. And even though she and Tommy are standing on the same side, there's a growing distance between them. Trust is thinner now. Fear sits in the middle of every conversation. The episode closes with a feeling that's hard to shake. This wasn't a breaking point that leads to relief. It was a breaking point that leads to consequences. Tommy isn't the man he was at the start of the season, and that change is permanent. He's done pretending that hard work and good intentions can fix everything. He's done believing that sacrifice always leads to reward. And most of all, he's done carrying everyone else's pain without acknowledging his own. The teaser for what's coming next makes one thing painfully clear. The show is preparing us for loss. Not the loud kind. The slow, inevitable kind that you see coming but can't stop. Episode 5 isn't just a turning point for Landman Season 2. It's a warning. And if this is the path Tommy is on now, whatever waits at the end of the season is going to hurt.